Hey gang, you know, if you're like me, you take a backpack to the stand with you when you go. And I'm probably guilty of carrying too many things with me, but I do have some things that I hate to go to the stand without. So when I go bear hunting and I'm sitting over bait, I've got quite a few things in my pack that I really like to take with me, and I thought I would just pull them out and show you what's in my backpack. And you can adjust or add or subtract or whatever based on what you like to do or what your needs are, what the situation is, and so forth. So let's dig in. First thing is a face covering that you can pull down over your face. Helps with mosquitoes, helps if it starts to get cool in the evenings, and of course it helps cover up your face to make it more difficult for the bears to see you. Okay, the second thing is I rarely, spring or fall, rarely go bear hunting without a thermocell, and I like the case that this thermocell comes with because I got an extra bottle of butane on one side and I got a few extra pads on this side. So I don't always use it, but I pretty much always have it with me. It's a rare situation where I don't use it. Here's something that I came across a few years ago, and I have a headlight too, but I'll tell you about that in a minute. But this flashlight is pretty interesting. This is an Elements flashlight by Celestron, and it's got 3 different brightness levels, and you can open the back. It's rechargeable, but you can also open the back, and on the back you can charge your device with it. And you know, if you want to charge a camera, if you want to charge your phone or SD card reader or whatever, you can actually charge anything you want off the back of that. And it's also got a hand warmer where if you hold the button down, it warms up. And there's been times when it gets cool in the evening and a hand warmer feels really good. So rechargeable Celestron Elements flashlight. It's heavy sucker, but there's been a lot of times when I'm really glad I have it. Okay, an extra, let's start with this pouch here on the top. There's a small pouch on this Huntworth backpack on the very top, and there's 2 things I always keep in here. One of them is a really good headlight, because getting in or out of the woods in the dark, especially out when you're bear hunting, it's really nice to light the place up. If you know there's bears around, if you're anything like me, it's just really nice to have a really good light and be able to see well, so you're not tripping over sticks and making a bunch of noise and stuff like that. So this is called the Nightcore HC65, and it's also rechargeable. That's the headlight that I use most of the time. And also in this top pocket is my release. I want to have it ready and available all the time, so I have it in a place where it's really easy to get to. I don't always take a rangefinder with me. You probably know what the range of the bait is from your stand, but the advantage of a rangefinder is that you can range a couple of openings around you and things like that, because there's been times when a bear doesn't come all the way in to the bait, and if it's within range, then it's nice to know what the range is. So I usually have it with me so I can just, you know, take a few ranges, memorize 2 or 3 of them in case, you know, if a bear comes down the trail, goes through that opening, I can shoot him right there and I know exactly how far it is. Okay, a spare release, and I've got quite a story about why I carry a spare release. It cost me $1 having a release break basically when a deer was coming down the trail. I won't tell the whole story right now, but I always have a second release with me. Another thing that's always in my backpack is the field wipes, the scent killer field wipes. If it's warm and you're sweaty, you can wipe down your arms. A lot of time I'm hunting in spring or fall in warm weather, and you get sweaty, you're in short sleeves, you can wipe down your skin with this stuff and wipe down, you know, your face and neck and so forth. And these are definitely good for situations. Maybe you got a case of the quick step or something like that. There's a lot of reasons to have one of these along. I always have them in my pack. A knife for field dressing. This happens to be a Havalon. I've also got extra blades in here. Always got to have a knife for field dressing. There's an extra 4-pack of blades as well. Probably will never need them just for field dressing, but for some reason I got them in there. Well, here's something that very few people carry with them, but I've been carrying it a lot, more and more all the time actually. This is a thermal imaging unit, and it's a FLIR, and you can look around you and see if there's any bears coming, even if it's dark, for example, and you're about to get out of your stand. If you want to just look around, you'll know if there's any bears around you, even if it's pitch dark. It's also really helpful for recovering a bear that you're tracking. Now, one of the questions that somebody always asks when I talk about this thing is, can you see blood with it? And it really doesn't work for that, because the blood quickly loses its warm temperature and becomes the same temperature of its surroundings, probably within 10 minutes or so. But you can see a bear through this thing even the next morning. It'll show up. I've recovered deer that I never would have recovered otherwise without this thing. You can actually take pictures and video with it, which is kind of cool. And so I've just learned to start carrying this thing quite a bit. And there's quite a few times when maybe I got a sow with cubs around me or something like that, and it's dark and I got to get out of the stand and walk out. I can look around, I can figure out where they are or whatever. So it's just kind of a cool thing. They're kind of expensive, but worth it. Two more. I carry a drink with me in case you got a cough, in case you get thirsty, if you're eating something. So I usually carry a drink with me, and I use these harder bottles. I don't like a regular water bottle like this. They're so noisy. You just can't get away from that, and so don't put one of these in your backpacks. They're just really noisy. Use the thicker, harder bottle that doesn't make any noise. In the compartment on the other side of this pack, I've got some Northwoods Cherry Burst. I like their Blueberry Burst, Cherry Burst. They got gold dust. A lot of times I'll put some of this on the bait when I go in. I also can use it as a wind indicator. And holy smokes, that stuff smells good. I just like to carry some of this with me. That goes in that compartment. Also, of course, don't forget your tag. You got to have your tag because you're probably going to get a bear, so don't forget that. I've also got to have a couple other things, because if I'm going to charge a device, let me just pull some of this out of here. If I'm going to charge a device, I've got to have a charger that can connect to that Celestron flashlight and to the device, a zip tie to attach your tag, a pen in case you got to mark something down or write it, and as a safety feature, a lighter. I always have a lighter with me. Probably never need it, but if you do, it might save your life. And I'm still digging here. A couple more things. A key for the padlock that's typically on my trail camera. I usually lock my cameras up at the bear bait sites, and I got to have a padlock to unlock that, and then also an extra SD card in case I want to change out the card when I get out of the stand or something like that. So I typically change the card when I go in, not always, but sometimes I change it when I go in or when I go out. And one more thing that's not actually in the backpack, but I usually strap it to the bottom of the backpack, and that is a jacket or a hoodie, a sweatshirt of some sort. And like this backpack here, it has these straps. Oh, there goes my Cherry Burst. It has these straps on the bottom, so I can strap this in there, and I can take this out real quietly. And this is just a Huntworth lightweight jacket, kind of a hoodie that has got a zipper on it. It's also got a face covering, and so many times it'll be warm when you go to the stand, but when that sun drops below the treetops, it can get to be pretty chilly in a hurry. So I've always got something like this strapped to the bottom of my pack, and usually pull it out and quietly and carefully pull it on. So that's the things that are in my backpack. Those are the things that are important to me. I pretty much have most all of those things every time I go bear hunting. If you've got something that you'd like to add to this that you like to carry with you, leave it in the comments below. If you don't like to carry that much stuff, if you want to be able to go back to the truck or four-wheeler or camp or whatever to get your stuff, I understand that. This is just kind of the way I do it, and everybody's mileage varies, I guess you'd say. So thanks for joining me. Hope this has been helpful. We'll see you on the next video.